Coming up on CitrusTV News Live at 6, Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders battle it out in Miami.
We'll have the highlights from last night's heated debate. Plus, a meeting today between President Obama and Canadian leader Justin Trudeau.
We'll tell you what makes this meeting a historic one.
And a movie classic is now heading to the stage.
Find out the fetch announcement Tina Fey made.
All that and more.
CitrusTV News Live at 6 starts right now.
From the CitrusTV studios, this is CitrusTV News Live at 6, your campus news leader.
Good evening and welcome to CitrusTV News Live at 6. I'm Jacob Reynolds.
And I'm Topher Lane. A former Secretary of State will be speaking at the Maxwell School. That's our top story tonight.
SU will be welcoming a big guest speaker next month. Former Secretary of State Madeleine Albright will be speaking at the Maxwell School.
Albright will be delivering the Tanner Lecture on Ethics, Citizenship, and Public Responsibility on April 5th. She'll be discussing her 40-year career in international relations.
The school made the announcement via email earlier today. It's free and open to the public, though the school recommends you RSVP online if you want to attend.
The tournament of chances of the Syracuse men's basketball team may be receiving a slight boost. Earlier today, NCAA Selection Committee Chair Joe Castiglione said Coach Jim Boeheim's 9-game suspension will be taken into consideration when deciding if Syracuse will play in the NCAA tournament. The Orange went 4-5 during Boeheim's suspension, and Eric Simon will have more on the college basketball later on in sports.
And an arrest has been made for the computer stolen from Link Hall a few weeks ago. A DPS release says a 31-year-old alum is in police custody for the crime. The release also says 13 of the 22 stolen computers have been recovered. Anyone with additional information is asked to call the police department at 442-5222. And New York Senator Chuck Schumer is seeking $100 million in funding for lead testing in New York schools. Schumer is asking for funds after elevated levels of lead were found in multiple samples in the Ithaca School District. The senator has also asked the EPA for help, stating that the lead levels must be lowered to ensure the health of everyone in the school community. And after the break, a fatal shooting in Pittsburgh. Find out what police are saying about the incident.
And an update from the campaign trail as presidential hopefuls battle it out in Florida. We'll be right back.
Tuesday and Wednesday brought some beautiful weather to Syracuse. However, it rained on our parade as storms began to move into the area last night. They've decided to stick around a little bit. You can see the storms are making their way out, but not quite out of the area all the ways. Will this wet weather ruin your spring break plans, or will we be basking under the sun? I'll let you know coming up after the break.
How you doing? My name's Steve. My family's lived in this neighborhood for years. Recently, things got so tight, we had to go to our local food bank for help. I lost a lot of sleep worrying about what the neighbors might think. That is until I saw them there, too. How'd I do, Steve?
A little stiff. You could have done a little better.
What? Come on. You know, I have an Academy Award.
Yeah, but not for playing me.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Wake the sun, tell him that I've begun to dream of things to come, and tell the trees not to look for me. I'm going to find some peace of mind. Wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun.
Now, the Justice Department is urging a California court to force Apple to unlock the iPhone belonging to the alleged San Bernardino shooter.
Reports say the Justice Department is encouraging a California judge to stick with her order to make Apple disable security features on the phone. An action Apple has said sets a dangerous precedent.
Apple CEO Tim Cook has publicly said Apple has cooperated with the FBI, but preserving Apple's customer privacy moving forward is more important.
After a Bernie Sanders upset win in Michigan, last night's Democratic debate got reheated.
Although both candidates agreed that deportations of anyone without a criminal record must end, it didn't stop them from making major attacks on each other's past record.
Another contested point of debate came on a question of climate change.
And when I talk about resilience, I think that is an area we can get Republican support on.
30 seconds.
Because
Let me be very clear.
Because after
I
all,
have introduced.
Excuse me.
Did you ask me to speak?
There is a lot.
You can finish, Secretary, and you will have 30 seconds.
There is a lot of
Madam Secretary,
legitimate
when he asked me to
concern.
speak.
You know,
Staying on the debate trail, the remaining GOP candidates will take the stage in Miami tonight for the final debate before the crucial March 15th primaries and caucuses.
CNN will host the event and Jake Tapper will moderate. The frontrunner Donald Trump, Texas Senator Ted Cruz, Florida Senator Marco Rubio, and Ohio Governor John Kasich will all be participating.
Rubio, who is trailing Trump by more than 300 delegates, will be looking for a big night to give himself a surge in the polls. The debate will start tonight at 8:30.
5 people deceased, 3 other people with gunshot wounds, 2 of those in critical, 1 in stable. The 4 people at the scene that are dead, 3 are females.
That was Lieutenant Andrew Sherman of the Allegheny PD speaking about a shooting last night in a suburb of Pittsburgh. Police say the victims were attending a backyard cookout when more than 24 shots rang out.
Witnesses say shots came from multiple locations. Partygoers fled the initial fire in an alley only to be shot at from a neighboring yard. Neighbors and family gathered in the streets to mourn the loss while recalling images of people running and screaming. President Obama is calling out American allies in the Middle East. In an interview with Atlantic Magazine, Obama said the allies need to learn how to share the region with Iran.
The president criticized the countries of fueling the proxy wars in Syria, Iran, and Yemen. While he has expressed frustration in the past, this is the first time Obama has made such blunt comments.
A Syrian newspaper and a German intelligence agency recently released leaked ISIS documents that contain job applications for the terrorist group.
The applications ask potential recruits basic questions such as their first and last names and their education and work experience.
They then get more specific by asking recruits what their, quote, level of obedience, end quote, is, and whether or not they would be willing to work as suicide bombers for ISIS.
German officials stated that these documents are likely genuine.
Recently elected Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau traveled to Washington today to meet with President Obama.
The president and the prime minister held a press conference at the White House and announced new commitments to reduce planet-warming emissions of methane.
The two leaders also promised to, quote, play a leadership role internationally in the low-carbon global economy over the coming decades, end quote.
This is the first time in 17 years that a Canadian prime minister had traveled to the U.S. for a state visit.
The European Central Bank has taken more drastic steps to kickstart the struggling Eurozone economy.
In an unexpected move, the bank is offering negative interest rates to commercial banks. Effectively, the central bank would pay banks interest on money they lend to businesses and consumers instead of taking interest payments. And the current migrant crisis in Germany has led to the rise of the far-right party Alternative for Germany. The party's leader has opposed German Chancellor Angela Merkel's policy of open borders, saying guards may need to turn guns on those crossing illegally.
The far-right party took over 13% of votes in local elections in the central state of Hesse. With more elections coming this weekend, the party has the ability to ride their wave of angry populism into disrupting Germany's political system.
And after the break, Brendan Tierney will have your 5-day forecast. Find out what the weather will be like for your spring break travel.
And Facebook joins the face-swapping craze. We'll be right back.
They're coming. Places, everybody.
Light check. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Everything looks good on our end.
And lights.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
got a job to do today.
I've got a job to do today.
Have a good first day at work, Mom.
Your donations to Goodwill fund job training programs right in your community.
Feels good to start fresh, right?
Sure does.
And like that, you're a job creator.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
March is International Women's Month, and Syracuse has been celebrating by hosting a number of events. Citrus TV's Rob Romano tells us how some of them were devoted to women in tech.
When Jessica Santana graduated from Syracuse with a master's from the iSchool, she faced a number of gender-based issues when she entered the workforce.
And oftentimes I was the only person of color, I was sometimes the only woman of color, and sometimes I was the only woman.
Now, Santana is giving back. She's the co-founder of New York on Tech, a nonprofit that provides support for students learning tech skills. Her project started in Brooklyn. Check out this YouTube video from 2014.
We want to inspire the next generation of tech thought leaders emerging from the borough of Brooklyn.
Santana spoke to Citrus TV about empowering females in tech.
I do believe that organizations that have spurred, especially in the recent years, to empower young women and girls to go into technology-related fields are going to be the movement that actually paves the way for them to be able to participate meaningfully in innovation.
The story of Santana and many others were told thanks to a panel discussion about being a woman in many industries. The discussion was sponsored by SWEEP, the Syracuse Women's Empowerment and Engagement Partnership. Senior Fatma Gome is president of the It Girls Alumni Group, an organization that brings together females from the iSchool. She's glad to see SU empowering women.
To celebrate the accomplishments and all the achievements women have made, not only locally but globally, is awesome to see in the process.
And speaking of the iSchool, an informal chat was held there before the panel. Accomplished electrical engineer Jill Tejan was in attendance, and she spoke about biases in technology that you wouldn't even think about.
Tejan spoke to Citrus TV about a number of inventions that are rigged against women. One of them, the lavalier microphone, believe it or not.
As you are aware, I have a lavalier microphone on my jacket, which was designed by a man to fit on a man's tie. So it's not actually designed at all for women and women's clothing. The original Palm Pilot, which was the first PDA, the predecessor or ancestor of the smartphone, was designed to fit into a man's breast pocket.
Tejan was the keynote speaker prior to the panel discussion. She gave a speech about notable females throughout history. Rob Romano, Citrus TV News.
And the celebration of females continues right now with the fashion show in the Shine Student Center. The event lasts until 8. After a beautiful day yesterday, it was raining out there today.
One feels like a duck splashing around in all this wet. Let's send it over to Brendan Tierney to find out when the sun will come back.
Thanks, Jake and Topher. Yeah, you definitely did feel like a rubber duck out there earlier. You can see that we had between a quarter of an inch, between a half an inch of rain today. Luckily, it wasn't super heavy rain, but there was a lot of it constantly through the day. Not the driest conditions ever. Luckily, we are going to get a break in that, as currently outside 54 degrees, rain and fog. Today's high was 61 degrees. We're coming down from that, but not that bad overall outside. Not the 70 we were feeling yesterday, but still well above average. Taking a look at national radar, you can see on Future Tracker that the storm's going to make its way off the coast over the next few days. So if you have spring break plans, it won't be that bad. And up here in Syracuse, we're going to be drying out by tomorrow morning as well. As we move on, taking a look at the national outlook, you can see that we're above average for most of the East Coast for your spring break trips. So down in Florida, we're going to be seeing 80 degrees. Up in our area, we're in the upper 50s. Luckily, out in Colorado, if you're heading out to the Rockies to go skiing, it's going to be cold. So not that bad overall throughout our country for spring break. Tonight, we have to get to spring break first. So tonight, 35 degrees will be our low. So above freezing, no chance of snow, luckily. Rain's going to be clearing out by midnight, so not that bad, but take an umbrella if you're going out earlier this evening. And then taking a look at your exclusive Citrus TV 5-day forecast. See tomorrow, high 45 degrees and nice and sunny. Saturday, back into the 60s, 61 degrees is your high. Some clouds will be moving in Saturday into Sunday. 60% chance of rain on Sunday evening. They'll be hanging around Monday, high of 55. And Tuesday, we have another chance of some rain, high of 58.
All right, Brendan, thanks. Now, a lot of people traveling home tomorrow and this weekend for spring break. Are we going to expect any delays with the weather?
Luckily, no delays. This light rain that we've seen have not been slowing down any airplanes, but definitely take a look if you're flying home at the listings before you head to the airport.
All right, thanks, Brendan.
Yep, thank you.
A recent study by the American Psychological Association found that the average American experienced more stress in 2015 than previous years. The average U.S. stress level rose from a 4.9 in 2014 to a 5.1 in 2015 based on a 10-point scale. The study also linked higher stress levels to more health problems. A weight loss drug's ability to also lower heart problems has been debunked in a recent study. In 2014, the Food and Drug Administration announced that the drug Contrave reduced both weight and heart complications. However, a recent study states that with more rigorous testing, these results have all but disappeared. This raises the questions whether or not the FDA is approving drugs too quickly to the market without proper testing.
Facebook is getting into the face swap game. The company purchased the application Masquerade, which allows users to edit photos with cartoon filters and different backgrounds. Masquerade rivals the current photo editing features available on Snapchat. Consultants believe the purchase was made in an effort to keep up with Snapchat. Facebook is not disclosing how much they spent in the deal. And investors are disappointed in BMW's dividend plan, despite the company reporting a 10% increase in profits. BMW is increasing their dividend 30 cents per share. This caused their shares to slip to 2%. However, BMW Chairman Harold Kruger expects sales to go up from the previous year.
The famous hot convict Jeremy Meeks is out of prison and apparently ready to pursue a modeling career. Meeks signed a contract with White Cross Management shortly before going to prison on a 2-year sentence for gun possession. Meeks has taken to posting on social media since his release, saying he is overwhelmed and grateful for what lies ahead.
Comedian and writer Tina Fey has confirmed that the production of Mean Girls the Musical is on its way. Fey and her husband, composer Jeff Richmond, have been working for a long time and say it is about 60% written. Richmond says he has started a song about October 3rd and been working with other professionals on lyrics. The original cast will most likely not be returning to their roles on stage, as Fey expressed disinterest in reaching out to the former cast. Fey joked that it will open on Broadway, quote, whenever Hamilton closes.
Coming up, men's lacrosse gets ready for in-state rival St. John's, and football may have a new commit. Also professional hockey, spring training, and a cute fox coming up on sports.
Don't look at me. Your hair's a bit frizzy today. Oh, you should pick that up. Oh, you're such a dork. Loser. Here, let me help you with that. Oops.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Oh, look. Your crush is looking at you. Poor you.
They want to help, but don't know how.
See, no one here's gonna help you, because no one
Teach your
likes you.
kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
So who's gonna do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice.
And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
We couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Search Ready Kids at nyc.gov or call 311.
Men's Lax had practice today, and after, Coach Tesco had a lot to say about the Orange's first win last week at Virginia and what to expect against in-state rival St. John's.
You know, with a young lacrosse team, at least experience-wise, to go down there, play on grass for the first time, and get out of there for our first win since 2004, it was a real bonus for us. Not only was it a good win for the team, I think that we only have 4 other ACC opponents, so to get one of those, you know, our first one with a win, it will help us going down the road here.
I think everybody's played really well this far, and you know, obviously we got to keep working on playing a full 4 quarters and not sustaining runs that we go on. But I think we're taking the steps in the right direction.
Almost like last year's team when we played them, they had some losses coming into that game, but they played some really good opponents, tough. I mean, they're up 7-1 on Yale, and Yale's one of the top teams in the country. So I think the tough part for us is this could be somewhat of a trap game. We're coming off a big ACC game. We've really got to get our guys to understand who they are and that we've got to come ready to play because they're definitely coming to Carrier Dome to try to win the game.
Coach Tesco also said injured attack man Nick Paroli should be practicing as of next week. And Jim Boeheim was not happy with the outcome of yesterday's basketball game. And here's what he had to say after the loss to Pittsburgh.
But I've always thought the NCAA committee was not the infractions committee. I thought it was the NCAA basketball committee, and I thought it's their job to pick the best teams for the tournament. I didn't know. I have read where some people think we should be punished by the basketball committee as well. I think we've had our punishment. I don't think we should be now punished by the basketball committee. We've gotten pretty heavy punishments. And the players on this team didn't do anything wrong and were not involved in anything. They should be evaluated on how well they played when they played their best. And that's the only thing that I think should happen.
The Orange may not be taking the court today, but there is still plenty of ACC basketball being played. North Carolina defeated Pittsburgh as UNC star Bryce Johnson puts up 19 points and 10 boards. Jamel Artis and Michael Young both put up 19 for Pitt, but it was not enough to top the Tar Heels. Notre Dame and Duke also squared off. Notre Dame topped Duke in overtime, 84-79, as sophomore star Grayson Allen was on fire, scoring 27 for Duke, but all 5 Fighting Irish starters scored double-digit points, and senior Zach Augustine had 22 rebounds. Both Notre Dame and Duke will be dancing in March, but the win is huge for seeding for Notre Dame. Also, Georgia Tech takes on Virginia at 7, and Virginia Tech will take on Miami at 9. And Judge Culpepper, Syracuse fans are excited for incoming freshman Rex Culpepper to wear orange, but now they might also be able to welcome his brother as well. Dino Babers and the SU coaching staff have offered Judge Culpepper a scholarship to play football. Judge is 6'4", 234 pounds, and a tight end and defensive lineman. He has also gotten offers from Tennessee, Bowling Green, Purdue, and Kentucky. Although Judge hasn't committed, his father said he will most likely be going to the Orange since he said he will most likely follow his brother. The Buffalo Sabres head up to Montreal to take on the Canadiens. The Sabres last played Tuesday in a 4-2 loss to the New York Rangers at home. Buffalo has won 5 of their last 6, including against Montreal, including 2 wins already this season. The Sabres are 27-32-9 this season with 63 points on the season and are in 7th place in the Atlantic East Division. And now, while golf may not be the most exciting sport, it gets pretty exciting when you add a cute little fox during the golf tournament. A cute little fox creeped over to an equipment bag and stole a wallet. It tried to run away with the leather, but dropped it. The golfer did get his wallet back. The audience got to laugh and see a cute animal, all while watching your grandpa's favorite sport.
All right, thank you, Eric.
When we come back, we'll take one last look at tomorrow's weather.
Don't go away.
I'm a teacher. Let me tell you what I make. I make learning a privilege, not a chore, and frustration a tool, not an obstacle. I make working hard seem easy and giving up impossible. I make an old subject feel like a fresh thought and unconventional methods common. I'm a teacher. I make more.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
How you doing? My name's Steve. My family's lived in this neighborhood for years. Recently, things got so tight, we had to go to our local food bank for help. I lost a lot of sleep worrying about what the neighbors might think. That is until I saw them there, too. How'd I do, Steve?
A little stiff. You could have done a little better.
What? Come on. You know, I have an Academy Award.
Yeah, but not for playing me.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
And Brendan's back for Wake Up Weather. What should people wear tomorrow if they have any last-minute midterms before break?
Yeah, well, if you have some classes tomorrow, bundle up. We're highs only in the 40s, but it's going to be in the 30s most of the day. This rain's going to cool us down, unfortunately.
Well, thank God I get out of here tomorrow.
Lucky for you.
And for those of us staying in Syracuse this break, what's the weather going to look like?
Not bad. We're talking 40s, 50s. Luckily, no snow, with spring coming in next Saturday.
And now, are we kind of out of this cold weather? Like, are we safely in spring? Can you promise me that?
I hope we are. It can snow at any point up here in Syracuse, but spring is starting next Saturday, moving your clocks back this Saturday night. So hopefully it's going to warm up.
Alrighty, thank you, Brendan.
Thanks.
And our show's winding down, but stick around on OTN for On the Bench. Then get all your entertainment news from Orange Zest and catch up on all your political news on Talking Points. A big debate tonight. That'll be important there.
Well, Marvel fans have reason to rejoice today. A new trailer for the next Marvel Universe, Captain America Civil War, was released today.
The highly anticipated film doesn't hit theaters until May 6th, but today's trailer is making fans anxious about the movie's release.
The movie pits the Avengers against each other, and if that wasn't obvious enough from the title.
You know, I'm nervously looking forward to it. I don't know what to expect.
I think it's going to be awesome. Like, it looks like a great movie. This is one of the best Marvel trailers that I've seen, so I really am excited about this movie.
What do you think?
I'm not the biggest Marvel fan ever, but it's a cool idea. It's a good, nice concept. Go back. If you're always going in the future, so many futuristic things.
I just love Marvel, so I think I have complete trust it's going to be a great movie.
It's just too much superhero conflict. Like, I've got Batman versus Superman, which does not make sense.
I think we'll have a little bit more questions.
And then this, like, the Avengers are fighting. Can we just get along?
I think they're running out of ideas. That's their biggest issue.
That's true.
But this is the best idea they've had. I think it's just such a great concept.
And that's all we have for you tonight. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Jacob Reynolds.
And I'm Topher Lane. Have a great night, Syracuse.